Alright guys, so I just want to start off by letting you guys know that this video is going to be rather confusing. I was really short on time, so I had 2 days to get this whole thing installed. Since I had an appointment on Monday, I had to get to get it aligned. So I said a lot of times I'm going to show you stuff, and then I didn't get the opportunity to, if either weather or just things were going wrong. I'll get more into that right now. Like, my front suspension was a bitch to take out. The driver's side wasn't bad. The passenger side was a pain. The strut literally fell like on top of my axle. And then once that fell down, it's got like a little hook that your brake line kind of goes under and in. And it hooked onto that. And then like right onto the rubber boot. Finally got that up, and then that hooked onto the boot of the little sway bar end link. So that started leaking at grease. So it was just a pain. The rear was even more of a freaking bitch. Everything was unbolted. The first lower control arm bolt was completely out. Took out the bolt completely for the sway bar end link, and then took out the bolt completely for the bottom of the strut. Up top, the two nuts were off the strut top hat, and I just wasn't able to move everything to get it out of the way. Like it was really, it was a huge pain. Putting everything back in, easy, butter. You know, everything smooth went in. It was a lot shorter, so not a problem. But getting out like the tall and really stiff Forcer suspension was a pain in the ass. So when I show you stuff in this video, you'll like, well, when I say stuff in this video, I mean that I'll show you what's going on next, and like a lot of times I don't. Just know that before then. Alright guys, so I just have the compressor just sitting in here right now. It's already wired up, so I've got it spliced in. Relay. And then, I don't know where it's gone to, right here, controls for the 3P management. And then if you kind of follow all the wiring, you have stuff here for if you're running 3H, so with the height sensors. I'm not running those, so I don't need that. It just stays there. And then if you follow all the wires all the way to the end, and I already have them taped up here, so I have it that I have my ground, my ignition wire, and then obviously my power. Power's a little bit longer than everything else, so I have the other ones just kind of taped into it, so I'll be able to just kind of feed the one wire in. So I'm going to follow where I have my wire here that comes through for my sub. So it just goes along the side of the car and up through the dash into the engine bay. So I'll show you that in a few seconds. I'm debating right now if I want to run my airlines to the same side, or if I think it's going to be too many things over there already, if I want to run them through the other side and then kind of link through on the engine bay to the left side. Kind of going through to try and see what the best option is at the moment, and I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to mount this compressor yet. The tank will work at the back, like I said, but the compressor kind of needs another spot to go. Management, I'm probably going to try and tuck it behind one of these panels on one of the sides, but it's a hard puzzle to kind of put together once you kind of have it. You know, you have an idea of what you want to do, and then you get here and it's totally different. It really kind of throws you off your game. So it's really going to be a little bit of a puzzle, but I mean, anything for the air life. So we'll work through it and we'll get there. It just takes time. Okay guys, so I just aired out the first time in the front. Like I said, we don't have the rears done yet, but I just wanted to see what it would look like, and I'm pretty surprised. I really like it. I might make it a little higher though, just for my ride height, because when I measured, I'm about 8 inches from the lip to the ground, which is a little scary when you're in a Forester. You know, we're not used to that low life yet. But I'm going to do the rear right now. I know I've been saying that a couple times already, so I'm procrastinating. But I'm not going to show it to you. I'm going to wait to show you the whole thing aired out. But for some reason right now, and maybe put a comment below if you know why, my manifold's only in manual mode. Maybe it's because I don't have the rear set up yet, so it didn't want to calibrate properly. But I had it flash a couple times where it said pressure sensor fault in my front left bag, so the driver's side bag. But now this morning that's not on my controller at all, but I'm still in manual mode, so I don't really know what's going on. So I'm going to try and troubleshoot that and see what's going on. I don't think that there's a bad valve, which is what some people are telling me, in the manifold, but manifold is, like you guys saw, mounted flat, so it shouldn't have any issues. It's not mounted upside down or anything like that, so but who knows, we'll troubleshoot through that. So okay, I got the back jacked up. I'm going to take off the tires, and then I'm going to show you what we have to do to take off the rear suspension, and then we'll get to going there. Alright guys, so another day. I went and got everything aligned, everything's done, everything's good. This is the same day as what you'll see as that first clip you saw at the beginning of the video. So I'll show you the vehicle right now at its ride height. Everything's kind of been tuned. I have to probably lift up the front just a little bit more, just so if ever I need to lift it up higher, I'll be able to, because right now I have clearance, but just I'm iffy on certain things, right? I'm used to that SUV life. I'm used to having that huge, like 4 inches gap from wheel to fender, tire from fender, and I mean that's not what I have anymore, right? So let me turn you guys around and then I'll show you the setup at what the ride height is, and then we'll drop it down. I could go lower, but right now, just with my winter setup, I'm running the 25mm spacer at the front to clear my Brembo with the stock wheels. So the wheel is just a little bit too far out, and if I drop it all the way, you can see it buckles my front fender. The rear, no problem. The rear I can go all the way out, but the front right now I can't take it all the way. What's up guys, what's going on? It's been a hell of a long time since we've last done a video. Things have been crazy busy, but today we are finally getting into something I've been wanting to do for a long time. That is finally changing the suspension on this Forester. A lot of you are probably thinking either springs or some sort of different struts or coilovers, but that's not what we're messing with today. Today we are going for a 3P Airlift full air setup on this thing. I can't wait to see it. So sadly last season I didn't get to film as much as I wanted to, just with weather and then stuff happening personally in the family, and then also getting a new job. So a lot of things went different. I kind of explained on that in another video that I did an update last year. But yeah, so a lot of things I did to the car you guys didn't get to see. So I hope for the next video that I'll be able to do kind of an update video, just to show you what I've done to the car. A lot of the mods that I did last summer are obviously gone since winter, right? So those will be coming back on, and I'll just show you them on everything as we go. I won't actually do probably an install video on that stuff, because I mean, stuff I've already done. But if you ever see a mods on my car that I don't do a video about, drop a comment down below if you have any questions on it, or if you want any info on how to do it. Alright, so I figured let's get you guys a walk around video just to show you guys the height that it's at right now. So this is stock height on my stock wheels. I do have aftermarket wheels that I ran last year. They got removed obviously for winter, but they'll be going back on probably this weekend or in the next few days. They did get powder coated this fall / winter, so this is probably going to be a 1 or 2 day job, hopefully around that. But I'm going to start off by taking everything out of the trunk, probably just the floor mats and kind of all the foaming and all the stuff around the spare tire, just to kind of see what room I have to put everything in there. It should all fit. I'm going to figure it out. But I really want to keep my setup hidden so I can still keep the big space that you have in the Forester. I don't want to put my tank, like most people do, across the back or something like that has it blocking, or you know, I know on most sedans or whatever they kind of tuck it up in the trunk. Well, I don't have that, and I want to be able to keep using all my space, right? So when I put the seats down, I want to be able to slide something in and not have anything in the way blocking it. So that's the plan. So I'm going to get everything taken out of here. Then we will kind of have a layout of what I can kind of put. I think today, since it's already past noon, I'm just going to try and run all the wiring and possibly the airlines. This is my first time doing air suspension, but from all the videos I've watched, everything I've read, it's fairly simple, so I should be able to tackle it myself. Alright guys, so I'm really trying to brainstorm what to do here. I just took out most of the interior of the trunk, so let me show you that. So I took all the foam out, all the plastic. I even took out this little plastic beam that was across here that lets the two kind of flaps of the back seat hook into it, so it hides it. I think that's really the only place I can try and mount this this tank. I thought that the Forester had a deeper kind of spare tire well area across the back. I didn't know it was just a spare tire that was dug out, so it's my fault I didn't even look into that. I completely forgot from last time I'd been back here, but I really have to try and figure out a spot to try and mount that tank, and I think that's really the only spot that I can figure it out. So I'm going to try and go get the tank quickly. I'm going to flip the seat back up, put it in there, and then try and see if I can put the carpeting back in and everything out without it raising up too much. But that's kind of our only game plan at the moment. Alright guys, so I think this might work out okay, because it seems that if I move these wires and kind of tuck it between instead of under, obviously, I should be alright. The only one that I'm kind of concerned about is this grommet, but you can kind of push it down. I don't know. I think as long as I can kind of move the wiring out of the way, that'll just sit there all right. And I'll just kind of tuck this over like that when I actually put the seats back in. Or not the seats back in, but the shoes back in the back. Obviously, it won't clip in like I used to, but it is what it is. Alright guys, just giving you a little bit of an update. So I've ran the wire through here all the way up beside the driver's seat. If you guys didn't know, here I have some STI seats and some interior shit that we'll go over next video. But yeah, so I ran it all the way through from the back. I've already put the interior stuff back, so you can't really see it. But I just came out through under the seat, took off this panel here, took off the panel beside where the seatbelt is, and then I ran it through and under. So here it is here now. So now we've got all of our wires here, our ignition wire, our power wire, ground wire. So sadly it started raining a bit, so I had to pull into the garage. It's now about 5:30. I started this around 1. We've got the tank mounted back here. What I did is I removed the plastic piece, like I said earlier, that actually let the back of the rear seats carpet kind of clip into it, and that's all it was. It was literally just a big piece of plastic that had 4 clips on it, and it let that clip in to kind of finish the interior of the trunk. That's kind of the only spot that you can mount this tank that'll kind of be out of the way and kind of let you use the space that you still have afterwards. What happened is we just drilled out, I don't know if I can really show you, we drilled out 4 holes for the tank, and then used some riv nuts, and we're able to put some threads into it, so then we just threaded it in the tank, which will be really easy. Still debating on where to put the compressor, but that's going to be tomorrow's job. I'm just going to keep tinkering a little bit for tonight, but I'll probably pick up this video tomorrow, where I kind of have my full idea of what I'm going to be doing. I've started wiring the front, so I'll show you that. I didn't film really when I was doing all this, just because of how tight it is in the garage, but I ran the rest of my wiring through the door sill here, up under the dash, which you obviously can't see right now because it's pretty dark. And then it came out over here in the kind of wheel well. You pull it up here, kind of through the, usually has a material cover on this. So I've got everything came through here. So I've got my fuse on my power source, ground source, power source for my auto drain, which I haven't put a connector on yet. Alright guys, so another day. Last night I just ended up kind of checking to see where I'm going to kind of mount the rest of the stuff in the trunk. Gonna have to finish running my lines. I'm gonna run 2 lines up the passenger side up to the front. The 2 rear lines are really easy. They just come up through like the little side vents that are like in the actual wheel well. Wired everything up in the engine bay. Haven't plugged it in yet. Alright guys, so it's been a little while since my last clip. I've actually got the air on the front already, so you can see it there. They're in on both sides. I have the air line ran across the top and tucked under, and then it runs down over this corner into the fender where it goes down into the liner. Everything ran over here for wiring. I already showed you guys that, so that's where I'm at now. I have both lines ran to both sides, connected up and in. It's a little bit lower than I want to, and I think this is kind of like ride height right here, because it does actually have pressure in the bag, so I might have to bring it up just a bit. I want to be able to lower it when I'm just, you know, parked and stuff, right? I just measured it at the front lip, and it's about 9 inches, so it's not bad. I mean, it's low as hell, but I think I'll still be able to get over stuff easily. So it's not low as hell, actually. I shouldn't say that, because definitely going to drop it lower when we air out, but I don't know, we'll see. So now I just have to move on to the rear. I I've kind of figured out my setup, so I have to use this foam. I'm going to have to do something about the compressor because the compressor can't stay in the foam just because it gets hot. But for the management, it's going to stay there. I tried getting it. This is all going to get, obviously, cleaned up. But I tried getting the management back here, in this corner. But it's not deep enough. So, right there is where it's going to stay. But figuring out where the compressor is going to go, it's bolted in, sort of, into the foam right now, but the foam's not really strong, right? So I'll have to figure out another spot for it to go. But we have lines ran right now for the fronts, the exhaust, which I have to put through the fender liner over here, and obviously for this auto drain that I have, that comes from Bag Riders, that has to go out to the back as well. And then from the water trap, I have to put on a hose at the bottom there. So that's where we're at now. I'm gonna jack up the rear, do the rear bags. So all my air lines for the front are ran on the passenger side. So these two lines here, they go under the seat, through here, under the obviously the plastic kind of runners, under where the pillar is for the seat belt, through to the front, where it comes through more of the plastic pillars or liners, and then it goes up behind this kick plate, behind the dash. Trying to see if I can get you a view, not really. Anyway, so it goes up where sorry, the blower motor is. And then same kind of thing as what I did for the other side. It comes through the fender here, and then through the liner, and then one stays down there for the passenger bag, and then the other one comes up through here and then ran across. Okay, so this is ride height right now. I'll get you a kind of a close up here. So that does have a decent gap still. Same with the rear. The rear is pretty high at ride height actually. I do have both the front and rear suspension on and really stiff. So here we go. I'll drop it down. Like I said, the rear goes pretty low. The front still stays up a little higher, but right now I'm kind of happy with where it sits at. So like I said, so the front right now I have it set to 45 psi for kind of my lower height. If I go any lower, it really just starts to scrape on the tire, so it kind of just tucks the tire right now. I have gone lower just for pictures and stuff like that. I just don't want to do that on the daily. And the rear really tucks. I really love the rear. You can really see it going in. I don't know if I can go any lower. Right now I have that at 25 psi in the rear. I haven't tried zeroing out yet just because I don't want to do that with the front. I guess I could just try the rear, but this is where I'm sitting at right now. Yeah guys, so overall the suspension was really easy to put in. Like I said, it was taking out that was difficult. The trunk setup's not pretty yet. I can show that to you guys quickly. I still have to try and figure out a couple last minute things. My compressor is mounted, but it still has a little bit of play and movement in it. The tank is perfectly fine. Management's mounted, and then I have to mount the drain. I have the screws for that. I just haven't put it in yet. Challenger passing by. So yeah, so let me just take out this WeatherTech mat here, Husky. So we still have the carpet in here right now. I'm going to cut it so it kind of goes right in front of the actual tank, because right now it's just kind of leaning on it, which is why it has that huge slope. But yeah, so it's not pretty right now. Like I said, you've got the management right there, compressor behind it. I have a piece of foam that I cut off that's kind of under the compressor just to keep it up, so it's not shaking all over the place. This drain, which is the auto drain from Bag Riders, is going to mount on the foam right in here. And then, like I said, I'm going to cut the carpet, or not carpet, but this kind of wood piece that goes from my carpet right up to the tank. So then it's going to be clean, and then I'm going to put my WeatherTech over it and you won't really see it. It's going to be pretty flush. But I just have to clean up a lot of these airlines. So I'll have to drain the tank to be able to pop out the fittings and then make them shorter, notch out the foam like I've done here and here, and then run my wires. through, or my line, sorry, through those kind of grommets. I did put the extenders on the struts, but they just seem to have popped out. I don't know why, but it actually loosened the bottom part of them when I was spinning them. So yeah, that's a little weird, but it is what it is. And I'm just gonna probably make sure sometime soon over the next few days that the top hats on these were tight. I didn't check that before installing them, which I checked the fronts, but I totally forgot about checking the rear. So yeah, so that's pretty much my update on the bags. Maybe I'll get you guys some shots when I put on my new wheels. Well, not my new wheels. When I put on the summer wheels, I'll get you guys some shots of what it looks like inside. And then I'll probably get you guys a little update too when I do raise the front a bit. I have to figure out what's going to happen. Hopefully when I put on my summer wheels that I'll be able to get that clearance to be able to tuck the front a little bit more without it pushing out the fender. I don't think that when I put on my summers the wheel comes out as much. Hard to say, I really don't remember off the top of my head. I'm hoping that it kind of sits in a little bit further so I'll be able to clear